Matthew Lee, Intercity Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks a lot for this briefing, for the event. I wanted to ask about banks' financing of coal. There seems like a number of groups were raising it during Paris. There's a few that have made loud announcements, but do you think that the actual financing of both mines and still yet to be clean coal plants is an ongoing problem? And also just supply chain. It seems like a lot of companies have made major announcements about their own emissions or consideration, but do you think, what's the next step in terms of the companies that are actually supplying them and getting them to make full disclosure? Thanks.
Anyone want to take that?
Sure. I wish I could say it's a slam dunk, but it's not. It's very much of a checkered situation right now. The situation with coal, I think, is pretty clear in the United States with the rise of gas, in particular shale gas, at least until a little while ago. That is not the clarity of the downward trajectory of coal in the United States is not as clear in other countries and not as clear in other producing countries as in some consuming countries. And it is, however, as we know, the most carbon-intensive fuel and hence the most responsible or the highest emitting. There is no doubt that coal is going to have to quite quickly leave the energy systems of the world. There just is no more space for unabated coal. I think that the challenge that coal has is, would we be able to bring CCS, carbon capture, perhaps use and storage, on board quickly enough almost to rescue coal onto the market? And everything seems to indicate that that is not going to be as quickly as we had expected. That is not to say that it doesn't represent a huge challenge, in particular for some developing countries who are currently still very much depending, in particular those who have to import coal, very much depending on that. And where this new kind of investment that we're hearing here actually needs to be scaled up ASAP, because there is no doubt that developing countries are on the up and up in their demand for energy. Both their populations are growing, the middle class is growing, and those that are under the poverty line also need very, very quickly to have energy. So the supply of energy is unquestioned. What does require our attention is how quickly can we provide them with alternatives to fossil fuels that are both technically competitive, but from this perspective, financially competitive, so that we can deploy them to the extent that they need to be.